Hello and welcome to Story Time with Mr. Ryan. We're closing out our Women's History Month series and hope you enjoyed learning about the trendsetters and changemakers we've discussed in the world of women's history. Today, I thought we could learn about a relatively recent female idol, Shasta Waiz, an immigrant from Afghanistan who became the world's first certified female pilot born in Afghanistan and the youngest person to make a solo flight around the world. Today we read Fly Girl Fly, Shasta Waiz Soars Around the World by Nancy Rowe Pimm with illustrations by Alexandra Bai. Let's hop on in. In a big, big world was a small, small girl who went by the name of Shasta. Born in a refugee camp in Afghanistan, she did not remember when the soldiers came, when the tanks rolled, when the bombs dropped. She had no memory of her family's escape or the plane ride to America. In California, Shasta's family grew and grew until she was one of 6 girls. They chatted in Farsi and Pashto, the languages of their homeland. At dinner time, they gathered around a cloth on the floor and ate picnic style from a spread of dishes. At home, Shasta lived as an Afghan, but in school, she learned to be American. One day, young Shasta said, "I will do great things." Her mom said, "You can do anything you set your mind to." Her daddy patted her head and said, "But Bakem, my child, you are so shy." And her sisters giggled, "You are afraid of everything, even planes in the sky." After she finished high school, Shasta's cousins invited her to Florida. She would need to ride in an airplane to get there. Shasta wondered, will it soar like a rocket or rumble like a roller coaster? She boarded the aircraft and said a prayer. The engines roared, the wheels lifted, and the plane soared. From up high, colors of brown, green, and gold flowed as one. No lines or borders separated one state from the next. Shasta loved this view from above, a pilot's view. One country, one big world. Up in the white, puffy clouds, Shasta released her breath, along with her fears. From then on, Shasta had one dream. She told her family, "I want to be a pilot." Many doubted Shasta. What Afghan man would want to marry a woman who flies? Foolish dreamer. Girls do not belong in the cockpit of an airplane. Silly girl. But Shasta thought, an airplane doesn't know if I'm a boy or a girl. So she studied science and math. She read books. She applied for scholarships and took out loans to attend a school to learn how to fly. She became the first in her family to graduate college. When she finally held her pilot's license, it felt like she had been granted a superpower. Shasta wondered, what now? One day, Shasta met Barrington Irving. A Jamaican immigrant, Barrington grew up in poverty in Miami. He had become the youngest man and first black person to fly solo around the world. Nothing had stopped him. Shasta started to dream about making her own solo flight around the world. So she flew with Barrington over Russia and most of Asia to learn about international flying and radio calls. Then she met Jerry Mock, the first woman to fly solo around the world. They talked about single-engine airplanes, about big and little airports, about foreign countries, about being alone, and about fear. They talked about Amelia Earhart, the first woman to fly across the Atlantic. Amelia had said, "The most effective way to do it is to do it." Shasta decided she would not just fly all the way around the world. She'd also meet with young people everywhere. She'd get them excited about careers in science, technology, engineering, and math to chase down dreams of their own. So Shasta studied charts and weather maps. She planned and she plotted. She read letters and emails from children all around the globe who looked forward to meeting her. Until Shasta went wheels up and set out on her journey around the world. At last, she soared. As Shasta flew across the Atlantic Ocean, she imagined the sharks, whales, and sea creatures swimming below. Shasta shivered at the sight of icebergs poking through the ocean's surface. Shasta knew that so many things could go wrong on such a long flight. If ice forms on my plane, it could become uncontrollable. I might fall from the sky. Shasta had never been so alone. There was not a boat in sight, no other planes in the sky, not even a bird. Near the halfway point, the point of no return, she trembled. Was this how Amelia Earhart had felt? And Jerry Mock? Shasta thought about giving up. Instead, Shasta took a deep breath and thought of the children. They expected to see her, especially the girls from her homeland, Afghanistan. Feeling the spirits of Amelia and Jerry cheering her on, Shasta kept going. She felt as big and as powerful as the ocean below. Country by country, Shasta met with youth around the world. She told wide-eyed children her story and inspired them to follow their dreams. She landed in little-known places like Cagliari and Christmas Island, and faraway countries like Egypt and Fiji. Everywhere she went, her message was the same. Challenge the possibilities. Dream big. Some days, Shasta soared through magical sunsets and topaz skies. Other days, she battled sandstorms and dodged lightning strikes. Sometimes monsoons kept her tiny plane grounded for weeks. Many times she thought about quitting, but she pressed on. When she reached Afghanistan, Shasta could not stop smiling. Music played, people cheered, women and girls hugged her, and they wept. They celebrated a girl with a dream who dared to say that girls can soar and follow their hearts, wherever it may take them. Months later, after flying nearly 25,000 nautical miles, with 30 stops on 5 continents, Shasta landed at the airport where it all began. Shasta Waiz had done it. She was the first woman from Afghanistan, and at 30, was the youngest woman in the history to fly a single-engine aircraft around the world. Surrounded by family and friends, Shasta kissed the ground. She was home. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this true and inspiring story of Shasta Waiz. She's only 35 now and is truly an inspirational figure and women's icon who didn't let society tell her what and how she could do. I hope you enjoyed watching this story, and I hope you are encouraged to check out some of the other great tales in this series. We learned a lot of wonderful women this month and their truly inspirational stories. I'm Mr. Ryan. Please feel free to check out my other stories in this channel, and until next time, I'll be seeing you. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye now.